from Westminster is the Shadow Minister for Immigration, Stephen Kinnock. A very good morning to you, Mr Kinnock. Look, we heard from Sir Keir Starmer, your leader, yesterday, condemning all of this as the government's fault, saying that this is a badge of shame on the government. But isn't it just a hard fact that we cannot afford to give not only inflation matching, but inflation busting pay rises?
Well, look, nobody wants to go on strike. Going on strike is always a last resort. But working people across the country are being whacked by high inflation. 12 years of Tory mismanagement have led to a low-growth economy, a low-wage economy, and people deserve a better deal. And sometimes you have to withdraw your labour in order to bring the employer to the negotiating table. The problem is, of course, that the government is not behaving in a constructive or positive way in these negotiations. They're actually looking to sow the seeds of division and set up a war of words with trade unions, rather than actually having a constructive conversation and getting a deal that is fair, that works for working people. And of course, politics is about choices and priorities. Let's not forget that this government seems to be perfectly happy to scrap the cap on bankers' bonuses. I can tell you those bonuses will definitely be busting inflation rates. So let's actually have some fairness in this. Let's get round the negotiating table and let's get a fair deal for working people.
Although let's not forget also the huge revenue that those bonuses draw in for the Treasury. But I'm just interested specifically when it comes to nurses who are asking for this RPI plus 5%, the 17% pay rise. Are you suggesting that Labour would match that they would pay that? And the precedent that would set for all these other unions? I mean, you've got to be real.
Well, look, we're not in the negotiating room, so I'm not going to stand here and preempt those negotiations and put a number on what that deal should look like. But the deal has to be fair. One thing to bear in mind, of course, is that a big part of this problem is understaffing and massive overwork in our National Health Service. Labour would scrap the non-DOMS tax loophole. That would generate £3.2 billion, which would go into the biggest recruitment drive that our NHS has ever seen. Tens of thousands going in, which would actually really help to ease the burden. So, of course, pay is part of this, but a large part of these strikes and industrial unrest is also about terms and conditions. We're bringing forward a new deal for working people, a much more mature, grown-up relationship with the trade union movement, positive industrial relations, a partnership between business, government and trade unions. That's what our country needs to start growing the economy and to actually start delivering a better deal for working people.